Welcome to the Pariksha Academy. Today's topic is Soils of India and Soil Formation. Soils of India and Soil Formation. Soil is a natural and dynamic layer developed at the Earth's surface, containing mineral particles, organic matter, water, air and microorganisms. It is not merely weathered rock, but the product of prolonged physical, chemical and biological processes. India possesses enormous soil diversity because of variations in geological structure, relief, climate, natural vegetation, drainage and long-term geomorphological development. The process of soil formation is called pedogenesis. It begins with the weathering of parent material and continues through the gradual development of distinct soil horizons. The five fundamental factors controlling soil formation are parent material, climate, organisms, relief and time. Human activities have become an important additional factor by modifying the influence of these natural controls. Parent material provides the initial mineral composition of soil. Soils developed from basalt, granite, sandstone, limestone, river deposits and other materials may therefore possess different characteristics. Residual soil develops at the place where the parent rock is weathered, whereas transported soil consists of material carried and deposited elsewhere by rivers, wind, ice or gravity. Climate is one of the most influential factors in soil formation. Temperature controls the rate of weathering and biological activity, while rainfall affects moisture, leaching and the movement of dissolved materials. Chemical weathering and leaching are generally more intense in warm and humid regions. In dry regions, high evaporation may lead to the accumulation of salts and calcium compounds in the soil. Vegetation supplies organic matter to the soil. Decomposition of leaves, roots and other organic remains produces humus, which influences soil structure, nutrient availability and water holding capacity. Microorganisms play an important role in decomposition and nutrient cycling. Earthworms and other soil organisms assist in mixing and aerating the soil. Relief influences drainage, erosion and soil depth. Soils on steep slopes are generally thinner, while deeper soils may develop in valleys and relatively level areas where deposition occurs. Distinct layers may develop within a soil over time. These layers are known as soil horizons. All horizons are not necessarily equally developed in every soil. The upper organic rich layer is generally designated as the O horizon. Beneath it, the A horizon contains a mixture of minerals and humus and is particularly important for plant growth. The E horizon is a zone from which clay, iron, aluminium or other materials may be removed by downward movement of water. It can therefore appear relatively light in color. The B horizon commonly represents a zone of accumulation of materials transported from above. Beneath it lies the C horizon containing partly weathered parent material, followed by relatively unaltered bedrock. The removal of fine or dissolved materials from an upper horizon is called alluviation, while their accumulation in a lower horizon is called illuviation. Leaching refers to the downward removal of soluble minerals and bases by percolating water. It is particularly important in soil formation under warm and humid climatic conditions. Indian soils are classified on several bases. In general geographical studies, the major groups include alluvial, black, red and yellow, laterite, arid, forest and mountain, saline and alkaline soils. Alluvial soil is the most extensive and agriculturally important soil group in India. It has developed primarily from sediments deposited by rivers. The vast northern plains formed by the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra river systems constitute the largest alluvial soil region. Alluvial deposits also occur in coastal plains and river valleys. The proportions of sand, silt and clay in alluvial soils vary from place to place. Coarser material may occur closer to river channels, while finer sediments are generally more prominent in floodplains and deltaic areas. Alluvial soils may contain adequate potash, lime and phosphoric compounds, while nitrogen and humus can be relatively deficient. Actual fertility varies according to local conditions and agricultural management. On the basis of age and deposition, alluvial soils of the northern plains are commonly divided into Khadar and Bhangar. Khadar is newer alluvium deposited periodically within active floodplains. Regular addition of fresh sediments generally makes it highly useful for agriculture. Bhangar is older alluvium occurring on relatively elevated surfaces beyond the active floodplain. It may contain calcareous concretions known as kankar. Rice, wheat, sugarcane, maize, pulses, oilseeds and jute are among the many crops grown on alluvial soils. Agricultural suitability varies according to texture, irrigation and local conditions. Black soil is most extensively associated with the basaltic terrain of the Deccan Tracts. Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and adjoining parts of the Deccan contain major areas of this soil. Black soil is also known as Regur or black cotton soil because of its traditional suitability for cotton cultivation. Black soil is generally fine-textured and clayey. The presence of expansive clay minerals such as montmorillonite is associated with many of its distinctive physical properties. It possesses a high water holding capacity. It becomes sticky and expands when wet, while drying causes considerable shrinkage and the formation of broad, deep cracks. Cracks formed during drying improve aeration and promote natural mixing of the soil. This characteristic is sometimes described as self-plowing. Black soils may be relatively rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime, but relatively deficient in nitrogen, phosphorus and organic matter. Cotton is the representative crop of black soil, although sugarcane, soybean, wheat, sorghum, oilseeds and several other crops can also be cultivated with suitable irrigation and management. The red color of red soil is mainly associated with the oxidation of iron compounds. Under hydrated conditions and other local circumstances, the soil may appear yellow, leading to the broader category of red and yellow soils. Red and yellow soils have developed largely over ancient crystalline and metamorphic rocks and occur extensively across peninsular India. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and several parts of central and eastern India contain important areas of red and yellow soils. Their texture can range from sandy to clayey. They tend to be lighter and less fertile on uplands, while finer and relatively more fertile varieties may occur in lower areas. Red soils are commonly deficient in nitrogen, phosphorus and humus. Appropriate use of fertilizers, organic matter and irrigation can considerably improve their productivity. Millets, pulses, groundnut, cotton and various regional crops are cultivated in areas dominated by red soils. Laterite soils develop under conditions of high temperature and heavy rainfall through intense chemical weathering and leaching. Intense leaching removes much of the silica and soluble bases, leaving relatively higher concentrations of iron and aluminium oxides. Laterite soil is commonly red or reddish-brown. Its natural fertility is generally low because nutrients are continuously removed through intense leaching. Laterite soils occur in parts of the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Odisha and other high rainfall uplands. With appropriate fertilization and irrigation management, lateritic areas can support crops such as tea, coffee, rubber and cashew. Laterite and red soils should not be considered identical merely because both can appear reddish. The color of red soil is primarily associated with iron oxidation, while laterite soil develops through the distinctive process of intense leaching and laterization. Arid or desert soils occur mainly in western Rajasthan and adjoining arid and semi-arid regions. Low rainfall, high evaporation and sparse vegetation result in generally low moisture and organic matter content in arid soils. Their texture is commonly sandy, and soluble salts may occur in relatively high concentrations in some areas. Limited downward movement of water and high evaporation in arid conditions can result in the accumulation of calcium compounds. Kankar layers may develop in some areas and restrict water infiltration. Irrigation can considerably increase the agricultural potential of arid soils, but poorly managed irrigation can cause salinity and waterlogging. Forest and mountain soils occur in the Himalayas and other mountainous regions and vary considerably according to altitude, slope, climate, vegetation and parent material. On steep mountain slopes, Rapid erosion can produce thin and immature soils, while valleys and relatively level surfaces may contain deeper and more fertile soils. Accumulation of organic litter may create humus-rich surface layers in forested areas, although heavy rainfall can also remove nutrients through leaching. Himalayan soils are not uniform because both vegetation and climatic conditions change markedly with altitude. Mountain soil should therefore not be regarded as a single soil with fixed physical characteristics. Tea, fruits, spices and various temperate crops are cultivated in mountainous regions where suitable combinations of altitude, climate and soil occur. Saline soils contain excessive concentrations of soluble salts, which can make it difficult for plants to absorb water and nutrients. Arid climate, high evaporation, poor natural drainage, marine influence and inappropriate irrigation practices can contribute to soil salinity. Salinity occurs in parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat and coastal regions, as well as in irrigated areas of arid and semi-arid India. Sodic or alkaline soils contain excessive exchangeable sodium, which can damage soil structure and reduce water infiltration and aeration. In parts of northern India, alkaline or sodic soils are locally known by names such as Usar, Ray and Kallar. Saline and sodic soils are not identical. Saline soils are primarily characterized by excessive soluble salts, whereas sodic soils are particularly affected by excessive exchangeable sodium. Improvement of saline soils may involve adequate drainage and leaching of salts using water of suitable quality. Gypsum can be used in the reclamation of sodic soils because calcium helps replace sodium from exchange sites. Appropriate drainage and water management are subsequently required. Peaty and marshy soils develop in areas of persistent moisture and waterlogging, where slow decomposition allows organic matter to accumulate. These soils generally have high organic matter content and a dark color. Examples occur in Kerala, the Sundarbans and some other humid and marshy regions. Indian soils cannot be adequately identified by color alone. Their origin, parent material, texture, mineral composition, climate, drainage and soil forming processes must be considered together. Soil texture refers to the relative proportions of sand, silt and clay. It strongly influences water retention, drainage, aeration and agricultural suitability. Sandy soils contain larger particles and wider pore spaces, allowing water to drain rapidly. Clayey soils retain more water but may become prone to waterlogging where drainage is inadequate. Loamy soil contains a relatively balanced mixture of sand, silt and clay. With good structure and adequate organic matter, it is favorable for a wide variety of crops. Soil structure refers to the arrangement of soil particles into aggregates. Good structure facilitates root development, water infiltration and aeration. Soil color can provide clues about mineral composition, organic matter and drainage. Dark color may indicate greater organic matter. Red color may indicate oxidized iron, while grayish color can be associated with prolonged water saturation. Soil pH indicates whether a soil is acidic or alkaline. It strongly influences nutrient availability and microbial activity. Heavy rainfall can make soils acidic through the leaching of bases, whereas accumulation of salts and alkaline compounds can produce alkaline conditions in arid and semi-arid regions. Humus is important for nutrient storage, water retention and soil structure. In warm tropical environments, rapid decomposition may restrict the long-term accumulation of humus. Soil fertility and soil productivity are not identical concepts. Fertility refers to the soil's capacity to supply nutrients, whereas productivity also depends on water availability, climate, crop management, irrigation and technology. A naturally less fertile soil can become highly productive through suitable irrigation, fertilization and management, while a fertile soil may produce poor yields under inappropriate management. The agricultural behavior of Indian soils is closely related to rainfall, but different soils respond differently to moisture. Black soil can retain substantial moisture, while sandy arid soil loses water relatively rapidly. Soil formation is an extremely slow natural process, whereas soil degradation can occur rapidly. Soil conservation is therefore essential even though soil is conventionally treated as a renewable natural resource. Water erosion removes fertile topsoil through rainfall impact and surface runoff. Sheet erosion, rill erosion and gully erosion are its major forms. Sheet erosion involves the relatively uniform removal of a thin layer of soil over a broad area and may therefore remain unnoticed during its early stages. Rill erosion develops when surface runoff creates small channels across agricultural land. With continued erosion, these channels can enlarge into gullies. The ravines of the Chambal region provide a well-known example of severe gully erosion, where prolonged water erosion has produced highly dissected terrain. Wind erosion is particularly significant in arid and semi-arid regions. Strong winds can remove fine and fertile soil particles where vegetation cover is sparse. Deforestation, overgrazing, inappropriate cultivation on slopes, mining and unsustainable agricultural practices can accelerate soil degradation. Excessive irrigation combined with inadequate drainage can cause waterlogging and secondary salinization, gradually reducing the productivity of agricultural land. Imbalanced use of chemical fertilizers can affect nutrient balance and long-term soil health. Nutrient management based on soil testing is therefore more effective. Loss of organic matter can weaken soil structure, water holding capacity and microbial activity. Crop residues, compost and green manure can help maintain soil organic carbon. Contour plowing involves cultivation parallel to contour lines rather than directly along the slope. This slows surface runoff and reduces soil erosion. Terrace farming converts mountain slopes into a series of relatively level surfaces, reducing runoff velocity and conserving soil. Strip cropping uses alternating strips of crops or vegetation to reduce erosion by wind and water. Shelter belts and rows of trees reduce wind velocity and help control wind erosion in dry regions. Cover crops and mulch protect the soil surface from direct rainfall and wind, conserve moisture and can contribute organic matter. Watershed-based soil conservation treats the entire drainage basin as an integrated unit for managing land, water and vegetation rather than treating individual fields in isolation. Soil organic carbon is important for both soil health and climate. Carbon stored in organic matter can improve soil structure, nutrient cycling and water holding capacity. Conservation of soil health in India is directly connected with food security because long-term agricultural production depends not only on irrigation and fertilizers but also on the physical, chemical and biological quality of soil. For examination purposes, alluvial soil should be associated with river deposition and the Khadar-Bhangar distinction, black soil with the Deccan traps, high moisture retention and shrink swell behavior, red soil with iron oxidation, laterite soil with intense leaching, arid soil with low rainfall and salt accumulation. And mountain soil with variations in altitude and relief. The distribution of Indian soils is essentially a combined expression of geology, climate and geomorphological processes. Rivers created the vast alluvial soils of the northern plains, Deccan basalt provided the foundation for black soils, ancient peninsular rocks supported the development of red soils, intense leaching produced laterite soils in high rainfall regions, while low rainfall and intense evaporation generated desert and saline soils in the arid west. Thank you very much for joining us. For more useful study material, please like and share this video, and subscribe to the Pariksha Academy channel.